Listen, don't not near motherfucker talk to me about not near another's verses ever.
Was this like?
Don't. Okay. So what have we been saying since the very first one?
That the sound is absolutely trash.
And that if they wanted to,
they should go to a platform that has better music.
Either go to a platform that has better audio or figure something out, right?
Right.
It took Jamaica. It took island Wi-Fi. If you've been to the islands in recent time, not staying at a resort, you understand what a miraculous feat it is. That there was not one moment of lag. There was not one moment of buffering. I almost felt like maybe they recorded that shit ahead of time and it wasn't actually live. It was that good.
Right.
In case you stumbled upon this and didn't read anything around any of the internet links that brought you here, this is the Chopping Block Podcast.
It is.
Our audio iteration of the credit check section of iStandardProducers.com, which is our very, very, very extensive listing of album credits, as well as the Chopping Block, which is our track-by-track review. Yeah. My name is Ty St. Boogie.
And I am Scissor. Don't forget the 215.
And of course, we were talking about Saturday's sound clash between Bounty Killer and Beanie Man,
which was absolutely amazing.
Perfect. It was so well executed. The sound was great. Where Beanie Man to an American audience would win on music, Bounty Killer, even if you didn't know his catalog, made up for in showmanship.
Right.
It was either the Beanie Man show featuring Bounty Killer or the Bounty Killer show featuring music by Beanie Man, whichever way you want to look at it. But it was amazing. And I mean, and that's not taking anything away, because I feel like where an American audience would know Beanie Man's name more, once y'all started hearing the music, you realize it was a bunch of songs by Bounty Killer that you knew.
Right.
So, that went off without a glitch on Saturday. The police tried to bust up the party.
That was the funniest part of everything, because Beanie Man turned into Uncle Beanie Man and kindly told the police off and got right back to it. He said, "You don't want to be that guy. Do you want to be that guy?"
Right now, 500,000 people are looking at us on the internet right now. Meanwhile, where is Bounty Killer? Off in a cut. Like
Bounty said, "I'm not going back." You're not going back.
It was so funny. That was hilarious. The Rihanna shout out was the funniest shit I've seen on the internet since the beginning of COVID. When that man said, "Riri, you see me, and Beanie." Yo, it was a whole party. And you guys, here's the really, really funny part. An hour and a half into this shit, or maybe an hour into this shit, I text Sis super excited. Because why, Sis? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Because I finally figured out how to get this shit to stream on.
Oh yeah, you finally got it on the Bluetooth, right? Yeah, because it finally worked on the speakers.
It took 6 battles and an hour of reggae for me to figure out how to stream it. And for those of you with Google Home speakers, here's what you do. You go, if you like me have been trying to figure out how to listen to Instagram Live, but like on your Google Home speakers, and you have an Android phone, so sometimes like it'll connect as a Bluetooth, but it doesn't stay really well. You go to Instagram on your computer, and then you go to the menu, and there's an option that says Cast, and that should bring up all the speakers that you have, all the Google Home speakers that you have. So that's how I did that. So yeah, that happened. I said it was perfect. Everybody said it was perfect, and then I got cussed out for complaining about the other ones.
Okay. So Beanie Man and Bounty were perfect. Now they had a single sound man, they had a single selector. So they had, they were in the same room, for those who didn't watch it. And it presented a single experience, right, that they can control. So let's fast forward to Memorial Day's battle. So
can we just pretend that one didn't happen?
No, we're gonna pretend we had 112 and Jagged Edge. And
we had 56 and Jagged Edge.
Before we talk about the
we
battle,
had 56 and Jagged Edge. That's half of 112 for those of you who are math challenged.
I was going to say that's a math joke for you guys out there. So 56. And for those of y'all who didn't think it was happening, the other 56 are currently in litigation against the 56 that were.
Is that who they're against?
Yes.
Okay, because Q Parker released a statement, and I'm going to say Q Parker released it because I just feel like the other guy, Duran, is the other guy. I don't think Duran released that statement. I think Q released that statement and gave it to Duran. Duran also posted it. But Q released a statement saying that they are in litigation, like you said, that they are that they never quit the group, and they would never do that to the fans. And that's not their narrative, and you'll hear their narrative soon enough.
So basically, they're saying Slim kicked him out.
Because we know Mike didn't do it.
Mike definitely didn't do it. So, all right, but let's talk about the sound.
Okay.
So, 112's records sounded better through whatever they were playing. And Jagged Edge's vocals, like as they were talking, sounded better. So it was weird. So what I did was, I'm trying to imagine, like, what is it you're using? Because Versus said, we are sending these guys a package, right? So after the battle was over, Versus posted a tweet and it said, guys. And then under that tweet, they went on to explain that they're using a package from Roland. So Roland, if you don't know, makes keyboards and all kind of other stuff, right? So Roland has this mixer, a digital mixer called the Go Mixer, right? And if you go on Amazon, you go on Sweetwater, it has terrible reviews. It says that you get a hissing sound and all these problems that have been happening in this Versus. It's like, my G, first of all, who picked this hardware and why didn't y'all test it? It doesn't work with every phone.
It sounds like they did the first one. It was crazy. They did the second one. It was crazy, but the sound wasn't as great. And they said, oh, we need some kind of something. And Roland jumped up and offered them some shit for free.
Exactly. But that's not Roland's bag. Now, we're going to talk tech stuff real quick. That's not Roland's bag. There's a company called IK Multimedia. They have made their entire company doing mobile stuff. iRig, iKeys. You know the I stands for iPhone, right? So it kind of tells you, like, they've been doing, you can do a mobile guitar rig and play it through your phone and all kind of cool stuff. They've been doing it for at least a decade that I know, because, we've worked with them in the past. And we worked with Roland too, but we gave out keyboards. We weren't giving out, we've literally given out 1 million mobile IK products. That is what they do. If you guys wanted to find a solution, and I'm not saying it's Roland, I'm not saying it's IK, whatever it is, y'all need to check that shit out during the week. Figure out if it works before we do another one of these. Okay? Now that's my other thing is, these fools were both in Atlanta. Y'all could have got them in the same room, socially distanced.
Because it was already the 4 guys from Jagged Edge and B Cogs. Shout to B Cogs, but it was already 5 people in the room. What would Mike and Slim have done?
Right. So yeah, exactly. And they, I guess they were at JD's studio or whatever, which is like, all right, cool. We're all in Atlanta. Why don't y'all just throw some masks on, be safe, or socially distance, on both sides of a room. Wide pan the camera and let's get busy. I'm just saying, these are things that need to be figured out in between time. So we got another Versus battle coming up or whatever. They're locking them in. Y'all need to figure out how this is going to work.
Right.
Because whatever y'all doing, it ain't it.
So I ended up cussing out 2 people that I love very much on Facebook because Saturday happened and I have not seen one person that said that was not the best of the Versus battles yet. Everybody was in agreement, right?
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I said, huh?
Absolutely.
So I said they should have all black clapped been like this to begin with. And I said, see, like my whole thing was we could have better audio than what we've been getting. And look, we got better audio. So then it was like, well, Ty, what do you think they should have done? I don't know. put forth all the resources at their disposal as Facebook and Instagram and rich ass Timbaland and rich ass Swiss Beats and figure out a way to not give us trash audio.
Right.
It's not difficult. I don't believe it's difficult. I refuse to believe in the year of our Lord in Wakanda 2020, when a private company just sent a spaceship to wherever the spaceship went to, that Timbaland, okay, Timothy Mosley, and what's Swiss Beats first name? Kasim Dean. And Kasim Dean in their tax brackets can't figure this out. I was told that I was complaining, and I was told that I don't like to let people enjoy things. And so,
but we're not enjoying it. We're complaining the whole time.
But look, here's my thing. I'm doing neither. I'm neither complaining nor enjoying it. I've opted out.
Right.
I said, tag me tomorrow in the fucking playlist. I won't be there.
Very fair.
I won't be in attendance. But when I say that this could be better, and then we demonstrate that it could be better, and I say, see, guys, I told you it could be better, don't tell me that that's me complaining. And I don't know why people telling me that I'm complaining about some shit that I'm actually not complaining about bothers me so much. But I just really need that now that all of our interactions are limited to the internet and phone, I just need for people to recalibrate this thing. Like, it's okay. You could like some shit I don't like. I could like some shit that you don't like. I'm not telling you not to like the shit that I don't like.
Listen, just because folks want to see the bright side, like I see the bright side in the event. I think it's an amazing thing, right?
Yes, I agree.
It's amazing culturally. I love to get together with all these other music folks and music lovers and relive our greatest memories and teach the youth about it. But that was painful. It was painful again. It's not the first time it was painful. Like, it was literally painful. And everyone in the chat was like, what's this hissing sound? And can't even hear this and hear that. Like, we've embarrassed legends. We've had to reschedule battles. It's just not where it needs to be. And I know for one, because I went live after the battle and started streaming the playlist. In full HD sound, my guys and girls. In full HD sound. Sounded amazing. So, I know that there's a solution, and I know y'all working with Instagram. I know that there's gotta be a better way that y'all can figure out. They can give y'all the back door.
Facebook figured out how to clone Zoom and House Party in a month.
In a month, my guy. In a month.
And then did it on Facebook and Instagram.
And y'all can't figure this out. So
this one thing.
I had a theory, and it was just like, okay, you guys got these playlists. And clearly they got playlist situations with every major company now, Apple, Spotify, and all that, because they drive the playlist. Maybe they don't care.
Maybe.
Because they're making money on the back end. Because believe you me, they're making money on the back end.
Somebody is.
And shout out to Billboard who wrote an article today about these amazing beat battles. We're just gonna keep not correcting people for getting the culture wrong, calling it what it is. We can't even talk about the actual battle
because the sound was so bad.
The one thing I do
this though.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I was wholly uninterested in this 112 versus Jagged Edge battle.
Why?
Because Jagged Edge lost me when they told me we ain't getting no younger, we might as well get married. I was off the train then. And I was like 19 when that song came out. And I was like, no, that ain't why I want to get married, like, at all. But all jokes aside, to me it was no contest. Like, I don't think I can think of 7 Jagged Edge songs.
So that's where I was going with this. And I said that prior, and it was no slight to Jagged Edge. Because those 7 Jagged Edge songs that I could think of, I really enjoyed.
Amazing, yeah.
But I knew this was going to be painful. And I mean from the musical aspect as well. Because what happened was Jagged Edge they played like 2 versions of
Let's Get Married remixes.
They played remixes because they ran out of records. They start going into deep cuts. And I understand that Jagged Edge has a subsection of a fan base, that knows some of those records. But once I was playing smashes for the most part, I think they, just out of mercy or just, promoting themselves, they might have played like 2 cuts that maybe everybody didn't know. But they clearly had more artillery than Jagged Edge. And Jagged Edge, after a while, their body language was just like, we're getting trashed.
Jagged Edge.
They're like, we're losing really bad. And, shout to them. But my question is, and this is the question, I live in Atlanta. Why does Atlanta hate 112 so much? What is this?
That's a good question. Does Atlanta hate 112?
From what I saw. So here's my theory. Is
it because 112 didn't necessarily identify as an Atlanta group? Like, I didn't know that they were an Atlanta group for years.
So I knew they were from Atlanta. But the funny thing about it was, if you listen to Jermaine Dupri, and people are going to be pissed off at this, but if you look at the music that Jagged Edge has, half of the music they played was like northern-based beats.
Right.
They played a joint that had Rev Run. They played an LL Cool J remix. Like, we all know that JD is heavily connected to Bad Boy and influenced by a lot of what Puff was going on. He's got a lot of northern influences. Like, JD's not the most southern producer there is.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? So, Jagged Edge has songs with Fabulous, and then they played a song with Ashanti. But 112 is completely Bad Boy. And Bad Boy is completely New York.
Exactly. And I think that at the height of their popularity, 112 came out. I mean, Jagged Edge came out really at the height of JD's popularity.
Oh, definitely. So Def.
Right? And so it was when you had the Welcome to Atlanta sign from So Def in the city. And just the fact that his voice would show up, just the fact they did a song like Where the Party At or whatever. It was the really accomplished cousin that went to school in town and was always accessible versus the really accomplished cousin that went to school out of town and never came home. It's almost that feeling because, like I said, 112, you had to be of a certain age and have been in Atlanta to know that there was a Club 112. If you were too young, I was too young. I didn't know until I moved here in 2004 that maybe the group was named after the club and not the other way around. I didn't know. When Diddy was like Room 112 where the players dwell, I didn't know it was a club. I had no idea why their names were 112. I had heard some kind of a rumor that it was some reference to like their college dorm room. I had no idea where they were from. And remember also, we're talking 96, 97. We don't have the internet to go figure out where these cats are from. We don't know.
See, I had older cousins who were in the Black college world, and that was kind of like, the Black college world connected all Black events from New York to Miami. So Daytona, Atlanta, anything,
exactly,
Myrtle Beach, like all that stuff. Like, so that was the only reason why I guess I was tapped in, and I knew they were from. I mean, well, I guess after the second album is when they really, really, really started to do more Atlanta-based stuff. But I mean, Peaches and Cream, it was like there was a lot of odes to Atlanta in their music. We just didn't get it because Bad Boy. I mean, it was Bad Boy, and I'm okay with that. But it's like, bro, it's 20-something years later. Why y'all still mad at them?
But see, I didn't realize Atlanta was mad at 112. Now
that's the weird part. I was just like, yo, my timeline was like,
I'm about to tweet Nick Love right now.
I'm gonna be honest, it was the same people who was upset about Manny Fresh because it wasn't just Atlanta. It was cats I knew from. It was very regional. It was very southeastern once again. And like I said, I went to college in the Southeast. I've spent a large portion of my life coming to the Southeast, living in the Southeast, so I understand the culture, band culture and all those types of things, and the cookouts or whatever, but 112 ain't do nothing to y'all. Like 112 ain't do nothing to y'all. I saw homegirls fighting on my timeline, like best friends, just going at it on both sides of this. But the overall feeling that I got from most of the people I know in Atlanta is we claim Jagged Edge, they're gonna trash 112. And I'm like, how? In the reality of all things, you could love 112. I mean, you could love Jagged Edge, but you had to know that they were gonna take a huge L.
Had to.
Had to.
Listen, I have a favorite skit by 112. That Keep It Real skit on the first album. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
Listen. Anyway, we don't necessarily
112 played an interlude.
Right. Was it the Keep It Real joint?
No, it was another one. But they played an interlude. That's how That's how many joints they had. They played an interlude.
All right, I don't want to stay on the verses too long because last week we fucked around and gave y'all 45 minutes of verses talk.
Yeah, we're not doing that this week.
What I would like to discuss, because maybe you can give us some better insight, is, so obviously when you go to war, quote unquote, against a conglomerate, a major company, unless you band together and you're just an individual, an independent, whatever, unless a big enough group of y'all band together, you're not winning. And sometimes even when a big enough group of y'all band together, you still don't win.
Mm-hmm.
So if you even if you're not in the world of music, even if you're not a DJ, you don't really, you follow DJs as a fan more than anything else, you have seen over the course of the last few weeks, several articles pop up about about Instagram and Facebook shutting DJs down over copyright claims.
Gotcha.
I found it really curious when I figured out, because I don't know why it had never crossed my mind, but in reality, could Facebook and Instagram not just do like every nightclub and every radio station and pay a license that would then allow DJs to play music on that platform?
So
could that be a thing?
If they wanted to do it. They don't want to. Like, we got to be clear about this. Google, the evil empire, pays every person for the music that's on their platform. If your music pops up in somebody else's video or whatever, like when we do the pull up and we play music, we get copyright hits. And I mean, not hits, but we get copyright letters saying that this person's music was used and, it's going to be monetized by them. And we're good with that.
And that's it.
And that's what it's supposed to be. So that person gets paid out for whatever Google's pay is, which, a lot of people are complaining about, but they pay out billions of dollars every year because they also make money on advertising, right? So they pay out a large percentage of that back to creators, both in music and both just the people that make the videos. Right. So there's no real reason why Facebook, Instagram, Facebook Inc. will just call it, can't do the same. They just don't want to.
They just don't want to.
Because they're making money off the ads.
Right. And they're making money off of the engagement.
Right.
When 500 people are locked in, when 1 million people or however many it was, what was the highest number that D-Nice got?
Oh, boy. He got up to, I think I saw about 400,000 people.
Okay. So when that many people are sitting on Instagram for an hour, there's no way that Facebook as a company does not win because we're on Instagram watching it. And 9 times out of 10, we're on Facebook having conversations about it.
Right.
The engagement is going up. While we're talking about people, streaming podcasts less, we're talking about people maybe watching TV less. People are definitely engaging on on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok more than they were before this pandemic. And I just wanted to point out to people, I don't even want to say I thought it was interesting. I just wanted to point out to people that the narrative of the DJs are being shut down because the DJs are violating copyrights, that's not the whole story. Facebook and Instagram could fix that shit if they really wanted to.
And what's even worse is if you make music and you upload it through, let's say, DistroKid or TuneCore or CD Baby or whatever, and you put it on something on Instagram, they'll take your stuff down. And it's you.
And it's you.
And it's you.
They did it to one of my homegirls who's a DJ who released a song last week. DJ Heat from DC released a song last summer, and she was doing a set, and she actually got flagged as she was playing her own song.
How about that? Static Selector just said today that they did it to him.
So probably this is not Instagram, Facebook targeting the DJs directly. I think it's a bigger play to piss off the DJs so the DJs complain about the labels, so Instagram and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook can go back to the labels and figure out an arrangement that works better for them. That's probably what it is.
And the reason why is because, see, the labels aren't trying to cut any more of those blanket deals because, well, the music creators aren't going to let the labels cut any more of those blanket deals because we already did that with Spotify. And that's why we're getting 0.0000002 cents per damn record as is, because we let the tech company basically set the rules. So if Facebook thinks that that's going to happen, it's not going to happen.
Well, hopefully they'll figure it out. But like I said, I just want y'all to, you know what I'm saying, like pay attention to all the details when you see them, and just know the narrative that's being told there. All right, so your boy Nevadius, king of the baby daddies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, huge.
King of the baby daddies.
So High Off Life just became his 7th #1 album. Shouts to him on that.
Congratulations.
It is also his highest first week sales, coming in at 153 total units, which is 2,000 more than Dirty Sprite 2 did. Out of that 153, it was 134,000 actual purchases of the album, and 134,000 of those sales or total units was actually coming from 186 million streams.
Wow.
186 million streams. Okay? You know, came to #2 after that album this week? Polo G.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout to Polo G.
And we're going to go through the list of albums that dropped last week. Like, it wasn't a light week.
No, it was a little heavier than we thought it was going to be. Like, some things happened at the last second and things dropped.
There were EPs. Styles P dropped an EP. Young M.A. did. It was a lot of music out. So for Polo G to pull off, he had 129 million streams of his album. And I think that was the second week. So it came in, and so his album actually didn't come out last week. It came out the week before last. And last week it did better than the week before last. So it actually brought him up to a #2 on that album, which is called The GOAT. And Megan Thee Stallion now officially has a #1 record. I hate that it almost feels like, actually, no, I don't think that it does. I think some people want it to feel like it's one of those asterisk things, like maybe Megan is at #1 because Doja Cat's career imploded. Doja Cat's career imploded.
Who cares? Okay, well, that's a whole nother discussion. But
no, we're not even discussing her at all.
I know, no, I got you. But
you don't even have to go there. But regardless to how she got there, Megan Thee Stallion now has a #1 record with the Savage remix.
H-Town.
Beyonce sent her actual flowers, so she got her flowers.
Awesome.
And Beyonce, this becomes Beyonce's 18th #1. It's Beyonce. But also, this now makes Beyonce the second artist to have had a #1 single in the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. Who was #1? We talked about this.
#1.
It's a woman.
A woman?
It's also a beige woman.
We did talk about this.
We did.
Mariah?
It is Mariah. All I Want for Christmas was it All I Want for Christmas? One of her songs hit #1 again in January. And so that officially made her have a #1 hit record in the last actually 4 decades for Mariah.
Gotcha.
Because she's had #1s in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s now. So kudos to those two right there. There is now a Def Jam Africa label. It launched yesterday.
That's dope.
That is dope.
That's really dope. Man.
It is very dope. The Universal Music Group announced it on Tuesday. They said that the label is dedicated to representing the best hip-hop, Afrobeats, and trap talent in Africa, and will follow the blueprint of the iconic Def Jam Recordings label.
So I just hope that I got to see who's in charge.
Okay, so it's based in South Africa.
Okay.
In Lagos.
Okay, gotcha.
They are supported by a dedicated A&R, marketing, creative, and digital teams from the UMG teams in both Nigeria and South Africa. So they are actually launching it with, hold on a second, I'm trying to see who else, if I have any names on here. They report to Sifo Dlamini, who is the managing director of Universal Music Sub-Saharan Africa and South Africa. That's so funny because I think that last name is actually the same as Doja Cat's last name. People were talking about whether or not Doja Cat was black last week. Her dad is South African and Zulu. But anyway, so now it makes sense now that I'm seeing that they're based in Johannesburg and Lagos, because they already have 9 artists signed to Def Jam Africa. 6 of them are South African and 3 of them are Nigerian.
Okay, that's cool. That's great. That's a great starting point.
Yeah, I think it's really cool because, most of us who listen to Afrobeats here in the States, you're probably listening to 90% people from Nigeria and 10% people from Ghana.
Right.
If you're here in the States, if you're like me and you seek out French speaking, Afrobeats music or whatever, then that extends the pool a little bit. Actually, we're probably getting a lot of UK and Paris based groups in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, with this Def Jam Africa, it gives artists from other parts of the continent a chance to get some American exposure. Because I think all these artists, the majority of these artists were already releasing music through Universal Music Group's Africa. So UMG Africa already was a thing.
Did we talk about Show Me Josie? So that's the young lady who did the John Cena song. She's South African. But what I was going to say is you're right. There's not, I specifically went and sought out South African music.
Right.
But there's not a lot of South African artists who were mainstream. Their sound is a little bit different than what you get out of Nigeria. Like, they have a very distinct, different kind of sound. Nigeria
is more hip hop R&B influence, whereas South Africa seems more club influence.
Definitely a lot. Influence. Yeah, it's definitely a lot faster. But the John Cena song, that's my jam. So if y'all out there,
maybe we did talk about that last week.
Because she was on one of those talk shows, and John Cena actually came out. But we did talk about it. But there are some dope artists in South Africa. Hopefully, like I said, this is an opportunity for the continent, and basing it in Lagos, basing it in Johannesburg. Hopefully they'll get some other hub cities involved. I would like to see some more East African music.
Yes.
Get some more sounds from North Africa. Like, it's a dope idea. So yes. I'm all on board for Def Jam Africa.
Absolutely. And like I said, because they're going out of their way to call it Def Jam Africa, that to me signals that they're definitely trying to figure out a way to get those artists to American audiences. Because that brand means something to us. And these artists are already signed to they're already signed to the parent company. Mm-hmm. So that brand, is definitely calling the attention of, people like you and I. So we will see what comes from that. If you guys go to, I found this story on Variety.com, and they actually listed the names of the artists who were there. I'm not going to say them out loud because I could say them, and that would be lovely, but you guys would not know how to spell half of them anyway. And we're not about to turn this into the rap spelling bee. So go to Variety.com, search Def Jam Africa, or just search Def Jam Africa. I'm sure that they're not the only ones that reported on it, and you'll find the list of the roster of artists. All right. I'm going to read this one straight off how it came in the Billboard article. After 7 years, 3 albums, and a number of clever marketing ploys to help the independent act grow its ever-widening fan base, including an unforgettable cat-themed remix project and frequent partnerships with Adult Swim, Run the Jewels will release the next album with BMG, the 4th largest record label in the world. So Run the Jewels is no longer an indie group.
I don't think Run
the Jewels has been an independent rap group this whole time.
I guess. They've always had some kind of corporate tie. I mean, it was smart. It was strategic. Of course, yes. They were an independent record. They were an independent group as, in the sense that they were not tied to a major record label.
Right.
But everything that they did was co-signed by Netflix or, they've never been
like they said.
Right. And like I said, that's absolutely genius. The way they've moved and the way they've done things is genius. And, there's got to be a huge bag involved for them to jump in bed with a label right now.
But I mean, how could there not be after the work they've put in over the last 3
years? Exactly. Because the label is the one that's benefiting. actually from getting with them. I mean, if you just went off their catalog of like soundtrack stuff, like they've got some amazing spins and records and just good songs or whatever.
So I want to point out to people that if you're an independent artist and you're smart, you would go back and read every interview or every article that's ever been written about these guys and study what they did. Because you might say, oh, but they're Run the Jewels. They have access to do certain things that we can't do. Think back to who Killer Mike was before Run the Jewels.
And that's the best part about it. Like, Mike is an interesting person. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is very vocal. He's very visible. You know, I can go down and walk past his barbershop. Like, Mike's
and he might be there.
He's a regular dude. You know, he's very, very, very political and not afraid to say what he means. But he's also a smart ass dude who knows how to market, and he's paid attention and learned from all the situations and people he's been around. And so I love Run the Jewels because it just shows what you can do no matter what angle you come from, and you can still retain yourself. He's still him.
He is 100% him.
Still him.
He is the same Killer Mike that was yelling out grind time rap gang bang 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 all them years ago. And I honestly was surprised when I read this and found out that they weren't signed to somebody else all this time. You couldn't have told me that yesterday. I wouldn't have believed you. I mean, I would have believed you, sis.
And just to even it out, both of these guys were real ass rap dudes. Like, these guys, like, if you talk about hip hop, these are two people whose names would have always come up in hip hop discussions. We can use the word backpack or, real whatever. But both of these guys,
whatever you want to call it.
So they both adjusted their style, figured some stuff out, and still remain themselves because they still will wrap your ass in circles. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The bars and everything is there, but they learn how to make it enjoyable. Run the Jewels is a blueprint.
Yes.
They're a blueprint for anybody who feels like, I've been indie or underground or whatever. Do what Run the Jewels did. Figure out how to make your music enjoyable for the masses while still being yourself. There's clearly a way to do it.
Find your audience instead of trying to ride somebody else's wave. It can be done, kids. Alrighty. Oh, I almost forgot about this. Did you know that like people are still out here seeking rap Guinness records?
Really?
Yeah. Did I lose the article? I lost the article. So, excuse me. Somebody just won the record for, let me try to see if I can find this thing. The record for the longest rap.
The longest rap.
Yeah, he rapped for 34 minutes and 34 seconds.
Wow.
Nonstop. And the way that Guinness World Record works is because, shout out to, why did I forget their name? The Hip Hop Cypher. Is that what they're called? Here in Atlanta? Soul Food Cypher. That's what it's called.
Right, yeah. Yep.
Soul Food Cypher partnered with the homie Mike Sick like 2-3 years ago, NA3C, and they did they went after the record for the longest rap cipher.
I actually remember when that record was broken in New York years ago.
So you know that requires for somebody to actually be there from Guinness, that like nobody can stop rapping for longer than some ridiculously short amount of time, like 15 seconds or some shit like that. Like, and that's when it's a group of people. So when it's one single person rapping for 34 minutes and 34 seconds straight, there has to be some kind of provision made for him being able to drink some water, I would assume. But dang, I'm trying to find, where did I
No pee breaks.
No pee breaks, right?
No pee breaks, like, oh my goodness. Yeah, because when you think about it, at first you're like, that's not a lot. But then you think about the fact that it's continuous, then that becomes a crazy feat.
Okay, so his name is Watsky?
Watsky.
And it's the longest rap marathon. I'm trying to pull it up so I can see if it gives us like a...
Why does that name sound so familiar? That name sounds super familiar.
You're a rappity rap dude and you know these things. Hold on, I'm opening the link on his name to see where that takes me. Maybe
okay, Watsky. Is it WATTSKY?
WATSKY.
Okay,
so, longest rap marathon by an individual spitting bars for 33 hours and 33 minutes and 19 seconds straight. 33 hours, not minutes, hours. He did it via live stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch between the nights of May 6th and 7th. And he covered all kinds of coronavirus topics.
Oh my God, he had to cover everything. He had to cover everything. 33 hours.
33 hours, right. He raised $147,000 for Sweet Relief. And I'm still trying to see what the guidelines are. How this works.
No matter what the guidelines are, that man rapped for 33 hours.
It couldn't even be contained in one YouTube video. It's 3 separate videos. So you can't even watch it in 33 hours and 33 minutes straight because you're going to have to stop and start the next video.
San Francisco MC Watsky. Shout to him, man. That's absolutely crazy.
What's even crazier to me is that the record, it's not like he broke somebody's record from like forever ago. The person that he beat has had that record since 2017, but he did beat it by 8 hours or 7 hours and some change because the previous record was 25 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds.
So so he can so the guy before him.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a guy before him that rapped for 31 hours, but his record was not confirmed. But Watsky beat him anyway.
And even funnier than that is that there's a whole separate record for the longest freestyle, which is not the same as this.
Yeah, this is okay. Shout out to y'all.
I love, you know what? But I love, Sis, that we finally come to a point where angry rap and conscious rap and political rap, nerd rap, thotty rap, trap, dad rap. We still don't have no auntie raps. Well, no, Beyonce gave us auntie raps.
Yeah, I'm definitely. We got some auntie raps somewhere around there. I'm sure Jean Grey got some auntie raps.
Jean Grey's not rapping anymore.
Is she not?
No, she's doing like
she DJ'd the other night.
Huh?
She DJ'd the other night. Well, I mean, she wasn't rapping that long ago though. It wasn't like
no, you're right. But she wasn't she wasn't at an auntie level when she was rapping. That's what I'm saying. Like I think you gotta be of a certain age and somebody's mama. Like you gotta be like MC Light gotta drop a new album. Missy gives us fun auntie rap.
Yeah, Missy definitely gives us auntie raps.
But you know what I'm saying? We can all coexist now, finally. And now if we could just get, fans to stop
being like that dude Snips, who decided that his brand of hip hop was real and all that goofy conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? We all shame those people. The amount of people that do that these days is so small. They're in the minority. So whatever. Because
somebody said to me this week, I was like, what's your favorite album that came out this year so far? And he was like, oh, I don't have one. Like I try to listen, but there's not really a lot of good music out here. You was a motherfucking lie. You is a motherfucking lie. You is a lie and the truth ain't in you. Yes, there are people out here who are so trash. I don't think Blueface has found the beat yet and the album's been out for 2 months. Okay? But in a world in which Coda the Fiend, Wop Dad, Deontay Hitchcock, JID, help me out. Who else have we talked about this year? YBN Corday, IBK.
So many people. It's so many people. So many.
Gunna, The Baby. Listen, I didn't even know that this happened, and this is one of the projects that we missed from last week. But Schoolie dropped the project, and there were cars lined up to go see his release event that he did at a drive-in theater here in Atlanta. It was legit traffic.
This is why if we live in Atlanta, y'all got to. I don't know. Maybe because I'm just shaming everybody for going outside because I'm salty because I'm inside. But y'all got to put me on these events, man. Even though
it was a drive-in.
I know.
Nobody got out their cars.
And I didn't need to, but I wanted to go.
So where did you go?
I blame Shauna Reed. because that's my connection to the trap.
So, yeah, I saw it on my see. Let me tell you how untrapped I am. Schoolie is one of the artists that signed to 2 Chainz label. My connection to 2 Chainz label is their lawyer.
Carol.
Yes, shout
out to Carol. Hey, Carol, how you doing?
That's how I found out the event happened, was because I saw it on her Instagram page. So yeah, anyway, yay to all the different kinds of raps out in the world. Yay to people that really want to sit there and rap for 33 hours, and people who want to sit there and watch them rap for 33 hours.
I need an Instagram algorithm reset button, because I'm pretty sure my homies all showed that. I follow Carol.
Mm-hmm. I saw it the day after.
Yeah. Oh.
So you know what you got to do? You got to go into like the list of people that you follow and purposely like just go reset your algorithm yourself. Like go to specific people's pages and like and comment shit.
Just so I can see. That's true. That's true. For all those people out there, that's because we had to reset the Bounce Gang algorithm last night. So it's very important that if you don't see somebody for a while and you want to know what they're going, what they're doing or whatever, you have to go to their page and interact with their page so Instagram knows. Instagram hides people if you don't look at their stuff after a while. So you don't
or say their name out loud and all of a sudden they'll appear in your feed.
With that part too.
Or just think about them. All right, you guys, this would be a wonderful, wonderful time for us to shout out our sponsor, which we have none. So I'm going to shout out Bounce Gang. And say Bounce Gang is our sponsor. You can tune in to the pull-up every Saturday afternoon at 5. Is that correct?
5 o'clock.
And if you don't know how to find that, you can actually just go to that at iStandard on any platform. And we're usually sharing that content there. Yeah. And I'm also going to shout out, can I shout out my client behind the Velvet Rope? So Biddy Barnes, who is an OG event promoter here in Atlanta. Biddy's been doing events here in Atlanta for years and years and years. Started this interview series where he's actually having conversations with some of the other people from behind the scenes in Atlanta's entertainment scene. And they are people who have been in the game for years and years, but they're also people who are like current or, people who just kind of popped up on the scene maybe 5 or 6 years ago that he's interviewing. And I think it's really, really dope because his perspective is one of somebody who's there. You know what I mean? Like he's in those clubs, he's at those events or whatever. So go follow at Behind the Velvet Rope, THA Velvet Rope on Instagram. And the interviews happen every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Tomorrow today, if you guys are listening to the show on Thursday, he's interviewing DJ Infamous, who is not only Ludacris's tour DJ, but also one of the premier tour club DJs here in Atlanta, and is on the radio here in Atlanta, has like one of the longest running radio stints in Atlanta, and used to be called the youngest in charge, and is one of the smartest people I know in this business. Because that man told me, look, he went and he spent money on a certain amount of like certified real jewelry that he keeps somewhere, so that God forbid, should he ever need it, he could duck off in the safe real quick, sell a couple pieces, and be right back.
Hey, that's a smart idea.
Okay, according to Nick Love, he said, why would Atlanta hate 112? This is the answer to our question. So this is going to be an ongoing conversation until we finish taping the show. I'm
about to start pulling tweaks. I'm about to start pulling the tape. Because y'all not going to act like we just making this up.
All right, let me respond to him real quick, and then we're going to keep going.
I'm not going to act like we just making this up.
All righty. We are up to the part of the show in which we discuss this week's new songs that have dropped. And I want to shout out the homie Sean Fallion.
Hey.
Your fellow Philly Bull.
My boy from West Philly.
There you go. If you know Sean Fallion, you may know him as host of Many, Many Dope, curator of Many, Many Dope events. Mm-hmm. You may know him as a DJ. You may even know him as a graphic designer. And some of y'all may have missed that in the midst of all of this, he was actually a rapper. I feel like every few years he tries to leave rap alone and then he comes right back. So he dropped a song the other day called Buzzin', which is kudos again to him for not calling his quarantine song Quarantine, Pandemic, Flu, Mask, COVID, hydrochloroquine, or anything else that you could call it. He called it buzzing. And then he shot a video in his own crib himself. So you can go look that up on YouTube. And if you fuck with the song, then go to his Bandcamp and, support the homie.
That's the guy, man. No, it's a dope track. Like, quarantine vibes. He shot a whole video. It's like super, it's a fly video.
And the track was produced by Phineas St. Omer, which is the rapper formerly known as Sean Don.
Really?
Yes.
I got a track with him.
Yep. So shouts to Phineas St. Omer as well, the homie. Ludacris dropped a song last week.
Yes, he did.
And I don't understand why more people are not talking about it.
So
Ludacris,
he played it. He played it during the battle. Well, during the intermission when Nelly was trying to get his life together.
Oh, and so that's why nobody's talking about it?
Well, I don't know why nobody's talking about it because clearly a lot of people watched it. So,
right.
What I think it is I've seen a lot of people just happy to have Ludacris back.
And Ludacris is definitely back on this song. Like, I fuck with this way more than I do with the joint with Lil Jon that he put. Sorry.
And a lot of people are also just happy that he's being active on social media now. Like, he showed us his old Acura that he still has from like 94 or 5 or something like that.
Still, yeah.
But the song is relevant. It's dope. Features Lil Wayne on the hook. Like, it's a joint. So
151 plays on YouTube.
I got to turn 151,000.
Yes, 151,000. Sorry.
I got to turn 151. I have to turn somebody's views are at 151. So we just want to make sure. I have to turn on radio and see if they're supporting the record. But it'd be good to hear Louis.
I'm trying to see now if it's like what it's looking like on Spotify. 196,000. It's a good record, though. It's a good record. Timbaland produced it. Wayne's on the hook.
Shout out to Team Timbo.
I mean, in our defense as a people, there's a lot of shit going on that could have us distracted.
A lot. And this is culturally relevant. We need rappers like Ludacris because Ludacris has always been one of those guys who could be political and tell a joke, at the same time. So he's always been able to keep it real, but, keep it light and entertain us at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the song is called SOTL, which is Silence of the Lambs. If you guys want to go look that up and check it out yourself. Big Boy dropped something this week as well. It's called, I just had it open and I lost it. I'm trying to see what it's called. It's called Tremendous Damage. And this is why I keep losing it, is because every time I go to it, it starts playing.
Right.
It's called Tremendous Damage featuring Bosco with a K, which you said is an artist from the Bay Area.
Bosco is actually a producer and artist from the Bay. He's done a lot of big records for Bay Area artists, E40, and a bunch of other records too. He actually invented a mobile talk box that you put around your neck called Electro Spit. And you can put it on your neck and do the whole thing without sticking a tube down your mouth. So he worked on that for a couple of years. We actually worked on his startup campaign on that. So shout out to Bosco, man. Really cool dude. Always comes out and been supporting the Iceland community.
I want to borrow that and just walk around singing the Kanye's workout plan sample from the J. Cole song.
I gotta show you. So I gotta show you. We did at ASCAP. He was doing like the demos, and somebody had him do that. So yeah.
Yes, I just want to have it in the house and annoy the fuck out of people. Just walking around saying, "I want to see you work out for me." do. All right, I'm sorry. Oh shit, I just lost our thread and I don't know what we're talking about today. I'm looking at something completely different. Okay, boom. French Montana is back.
Did he go somewhere?
I don't know. I don't pay attention. He dropped an album not too long ago, right?
I guess.
See, and you talk about did he go somewhere? Clearly.
No, I mean, he dropped stuff here. You see French here and there, but, he's got a couple things going on.
Maybe he's finally understood that he needs less of that album lane and more of that hot single lane, like Genesis has.
Right.
So okay, let me see. He dropped something in April because I see a video for a song called Salam Alaikum that dropped April 13th. A song called That's a Fact that dropped on April 20th, and then he just dropped the That's a Fact remix featuring Fabio Foreign and Mr. Swipey.
Mr. Swipey.
Y'all. I liked it better whenever he was a little. And it's another one of those songs where I remember we talked about was it last week or maybe the week before, we were talking about how like the New York drill sound is starting to evolve just a little. The beats anyway are starting to evolve just a little bit.
A little bit. But I think we just digressed on this one.
Which one?
The remix. Was it the Lil TJ joint? Yeah.
No, that's a separate song. So French dropped his remix to That's a Fact. So he dropped That's a Fact on April 20th, and he dropped the remix today. And then hold on a second, I gotta plug my computer back in before we die.
Yeah, so real quick, shout out to the homie Bosco, who actually is a Grammy Award winning producer. He did actually.
Come on, Grammys.
Here's the funny thing: Bosco worked on that J. Cole workout record. He also worked on because he's the guy that actually did the new workout plan. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's on that. He's on Bruno Mars and Dave Guetta's Versace on the Floor. I'm doing a talk about. Matter of fact, there's a video of the live performance of Kanye doing it, and it's Bosco doing the whole talk box situation.
Oh,
Bosco, yeah, he's
shout out to Bosco for real, because knowing the female Bosco, who is a singer based here in Atlanta, and the homie, when I saw the song, I was like, who?
Right.
Why people can't get their own names? My bad, sir. I apologize to you and your Grammy and the song of yours that I've been bumping for 17 years.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, that's the homie.
My bad, sir. But yeah, so French dropped his remix today, and then Little TJ dropped French dropped his remix last week, and then Little TJ dropped a remix to Zoo York, which, I guess every so often New York City needs to have its posse cut to remind you all that they are a city, and it's called New York.
That's right.
And, they have to find different names.
Yeah, because, Zoo York, wasn't that like a clothing brand or something?
Zoo York was definitely a skate clothing brand at that.
Okay, yeah. I remember those guys.
Yeah, skater culture. So Zoo York featuring French Montana, Pop Smoke, Fabio Foreign. So French Montana is fully stepping into his role as the oldest brother who maybe went to jail for like in 5th grade and then comes home when you're like the year after your senior year in high school and wants to hang out with you and your brothers. I mean, you and your homies.
Can that be Max B instead?
Max B just dropped the new song. I forgot to put that in. He just reminded
me. I listened to it.
Wait, is Big Valley home? No, he's never.
No, he's not home. He's never coming home. But
Meat's coming home next week.
He is.
And Meat's brother already home.
Man, listen.
So stranger things have happened.
I definitely listened to the new Max B joint. That joint is I'm like, how is Max B evolving in jail? Like, it don't sound dated at all.
Somebody connected him with Vibes Cartel. Yo, y'all, if y'all don't know this, Vibes Cartel has been in prison for almost as long as you've known of his existence as an artist.
That's crazy.
Half of the songs that you love by Vibes Cartel were released while he was in prison on a whole murder charge.
Yeah.
Because he went to jail the year after he dropped Clark's.
Damn.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you said the Max B record is a bop?
The Max B record is definitely a bop.
Okay.
For sure.
That was on my list and I somehow skipped over it. This is what happens to us every week. Like, it'd be so much good music. Because
I couldn't tell if you had got the G-Eazy joint either.
No.
So it's like pouring cheap drugs or something like that. And he's actually, it's funny, G-Eazy's doing what Machine Gun Kelly did. It's a rock record. It's a whole indie pop rock record. He's like running through a field singing with guitars, and it's actually not bad.
We've talked about how I feel about those transitions.
I know, but I love them. I love it. I think, you know what I thought about? I was thinking about this. I said, I want to see some rappers do some blues songs.
But they won't be allowed to, because then it'll have to be called trap blues. Word to RMR. Black boys can't leave the genre that they came in. You understand what I'm saying?
We need to do it more often. We just need to break the mold. We just need to.
No, but here's the thing: the way that whatever I won't even say it's the entertainment industry. I'll say maybe it's like some of the supporting structures around the entertainment industry are. They don't let black boys do that. Like Hootie from Hootie and the Book, Darius, what's his name, had to come out as a whole like pop with country twangy sounds for him to be able to transition to actually doing country music.
Right.
Hell, they gave Taylor Swift a hard time at first when she tried to go from doing country music to doing pop.
They did.
So
they gave Miley one too, actually.
I can't think of who the artist would be, and I cannot imagine the circumstances under which that artist would be able to transition from a successful rap career. Because I mentioned RMR, but we don't even know RMR. RMR came out and was this guy.
Right.
And they still wouldn't let him be that guy.
Right.
I cannot imagine somebody being a whole ass rap star, G-Eazy level rap star, Machine Gun Kelly at his peak, signed to Bad Boy Records rap star,
right?
Or even Posty. I can't imagine a black artist who could do that and then be like, yeah, no, but I want to do this over here and be allowed to do it. Wayne tried to do it and it didn't work.
Well, okay. So I think that, Thugger did it.
Did he?
Beautiful Thugger Girls is country. It's a country album.
How many records did that album sell?
I mean, I don't know. I would have to look at the streams because,
right.
I mean, it wasn't a poorly received album. Okay. I don't think Rebirth wasn't a poorly received album. I think Rebirth came out at a time where music was in a weird place. What I think these days, I think everything that you're saying is absolutely accurate. But I think that now would be the time for somebody to do that. Because there's less of a string, there's not as much puppet strings going on. And a lot of times if something works, then media just goes with it. Because media is chasing clicks instead of actually being journalists. So, it's not like a journalist is their opinion is not going to make or break something. They have to kind of go with what everybody else is talking about. So if an act like I said, Thug is probably the closest we have to somebody who jumps in and out of different styles and genres or whatever.
But he does that, but I think he does it for a black audience still.
I don't know how many black people listen to Beautiful Thugger Girls, but you're right. Because he did that song and had country artists on. He was doing duets with country singers. I love that album, but I didn't really hear it, in the hood. I didn't hear it on the West Side.
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you, as the kids say. This is my first time even hearing that title.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
But 2017 was like peak I'm going to pretend Young Thug doesn't exist era for me.
Oh, that's what
that was the height. Yeah, because people kept trying to say that he was Haitian, and I was just like, no.
Beautiful Thugger Girls is a really good.
I'm gonna go check it out. So to answer our question as to how well it did, the majority of the songs on that album have tens of millions of streams on Spotify alone. And then there's a couple that are like right under 10 million. And then there's like one or two that didn't crack maybe 500,000. The majority of the songs on there have like over 15, over 20 million plays. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was just late, as I often am. And, as I own the hashtag Late Pass Boogie, it's not something that I try to deny.
Music's not going anywhere.
It's fine. It's fine. You know what year I discovered Beethoven and Mozart?
There you go.
Whole last centuries after they dropped their shit. It's fine.
Right. Well, I discovered a bunch of Jagged Edge music this weekend. So.
Whole last centuries after it dropped. All right. So Atlanta,
don't kill me, y'all. I love y'all.
I'm gonna move this one song to the end of our conversation because I didn't know it was tied to a project that's coming out this week. So we're gonna skip right over to IDK and ASAP Ferg and Mazel Tov. That sounds very much like another ASAP Ferg song that I've already heard and loved.
So IDK and Joe, that joint is crazy. Like, I listened to that maybe like 2 hours ago, and I had to run it back like 3 or 4 times. The record, just everything about it, like those two, that energy, Ferg is near and dear to my heart. I'm a huge ASAP Ferg fan. Like, he just gets shit going. And this record, the flow, the Jewish lawyer and all this stuff, they just absolutely killing it. And I'm just like, yo, I'm here for it. I'm actually.
This
and I think
song is for the people who are like me, who loved Dirt and who love. Or is that what that song called? Twin and Dirt. Work. It's called Work.
Yes.
And Shabba Ranks, and then went to a whole ASAP Ferg show and found out that he only has like 5 songs that are like that, and everything else is not like that. And I was just sitting there like, "Where's the song I know?"
And I believe that was produced by Ronnie J. So shout out to Ronnie J.
Yeah, I'll go check that out. Shout out to IDK. Actually, you know what? IDK was the opening act for him at that show that I went to. That's why I was there. I was there to cover IDK. So that was actually what it was. Like a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. And then Tiana Taylor is getting ready to drop another project.
Clearly, she put out 2 new joints, right?
Yeah. And she actually announced the name of it. I'm going to pull it up. But, y'all may not have realized Tiana Taylor also definitely got in her bag as a video producer and director over the last couple of years. Like, so she's done stuff and short films and videos for other people as well as her own stuff. Mm-hmm. So she dropped 2 videos this week. And because I'm the weirdo that won't follow celebrities, but I'll follow your mama, I know that Janet Jackson saw a clip of her one of her videos and sent her props on it. I think it's called Bear With Me.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, was it last year? It was last year. No, it was 2018. The BMI Awards when Janet was honored, remember? Was that last year? Yeah. No, that was the year before last, right?
That was the year before last, yeah. Yeah, 2018.
So Tiana Taylor actually performed a tribute. She performed, I guess, So Lonely at the BMI Awards in honor of Janet. So to have Janet now turn around. I mean, if you're a Black girl Tiana Taylor's age and you do what Tiana Taylor does, there's no way that you didn't look up to Janet Jackson, period.
Right.
So to have her pick up the song.
So Bear With Me is the joint that she dedicated to, what's that, the class of 2020? Is that the one where she's got...
No, that's the other one. The other one, Made It, is the one she dedicated to the class of 2020. The new project...
Bear With Me is the one where she strangles her boyfriend.
Yes, smothers her man.
She puts the pillow over his face.
And let me tell you something. I don't know the ins and outs of Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert's relationship.
It's interesting. They having fun.
They are having fun. There are a lot of things about their relationship that I would consider gold. Because y'all got to be in an amazing place for your wife to be like, honey, I'm going to shoot a video. I want you to play the love interest. And the video is going to start with me killing you.
Yeah.
What? All right, babe, whatever you need.
Some people are into asphyxiation.
They would probably be that couple. They would be that couple. I feel like that would 100% be that couple. So yeah, she gave us 2 joints. Bear With Me is very flex my vocal ability R&B-ish. Like that's a super R&B one. Mm-hmm. And then Made It is the one, like Sis said, that she dedicated to the class of 2020.
Yep.
The video itself is actually like a virtual graduation.
Yep. Mm-hmm. With real clips.
Her guests are there as iPads clipped to chairs, or the other graduates are. So it's really, really cute. Mm-hmm. The album is, gosh, I can't find the name for the album. I'm gonna find it while we keep talking.
Yeah,
but I see one place where it says the album, but I don't think it's actually called the album anymore.
But it's kind of dope that there's a lot of people doing things for the class. I know the Obamas were doing something. They were doing like a graduation on YouTube, a graduation concert. Yeah,
YouTube did an actual commencement ceremony with a bunch of different speakers.
Yep.
And then MTV did a promathon last week. with Chloe and Halle and a couple of other art, Janelle Monáe, a couple different people, performing like a fake prom.
Speaking of Janelle Monáe, have you seen her show? She's acting.
Yet.
Well, I mean, she's been acting, but she's in the new Amazon series, Homecoming.
Homecoming. So before I watch hers, I don't know if it's one of those things where season 1 has nothing to do with season 2.
It's kind of, I think they're in the same wheelhouse, but they're not connected. Like, hers is a separate story, but they might be about the same thing because they're both
about the same situation.
Yeah,
so season 1 starred Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, yeah. They're both about like soldiers who've like been through some kind of weird, like, scientific shit while they were in war, So it's like a psychological thriller. So,
but she's in that new joint that's coming to HBO too, right?
Which one is that?
The Lovelace Diaries or something like that. Lovelace something or other.
She might be.
All right, before we move on to that, Tiana Taylor's album is really called The Album. And it drops next month.
The Album. I'm with it. Okay, let's
And I don't know if she's still on Good Music or not. I don't even know if Good Music still exists.
Let's assume it does.
Sure. Sure. I want to take a moment to shout out the homie Glam, who is actually one of the co-hosts of the Black Podcast.
Hey, Glam.
She's also an artist / producer in her own right. What I think is really, really dope is, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this, but she performs as Glam but produces as Colby. So you see a lot of shit where it'll be like Colby featuring Glam or Glam featuring Colby. Mm-hmm.
I was reading the credits and I'm like, oh, who's this Colby? And okay,
it's the same girl. First of all, like, she is bad. Like, she is beautiful. Personality is crazy. And then when you hear the music, and the music is amazing too, like, she makes that same kind of fun, very rooted in hip hop type pop music that kind of sounds like Missy's Cool Off record, like in that vein.
She sounds like what Azalea was trying to do.
Possibly, if she wasn't,
But no, I love the up-tempo vibes. Like, I enjoyed this record a lot. Like,
I love that she dropped this. The new joint is called why do I keep losing my place? The new joint is called Yeah. And I love that she gave me a new joint because I've been playing. She dropped another song called Good Boy, like maybe 2-3 months ago, and I've been playing the hell out of that record. Like, I put it on our approved audio on the website.
Yeah.
And I think I may do the same thing with this Yeah record because it's
Let's get it up there. Now you got a new joint.
So good. All right, who else gave us music? It's a lot of R&B that dropped this week too.
We got something from Mary.
Mary got a new record
for a project that she's actually working on. A television show, or is it a movie?
It's a movie called Body Cam.
Body Cam. There you go.
And I'm sure that it sounded like we were far enough past certain shit for them to drop a movie called Body Cam in 2020. Right now, today, I don't want it. It's actually out already. It came out on the 19th of May.
It came out straight to video? Is that right? Okay.
I'm trying to see if it's for a particular platform or something.
Okay.
It's a cop horror movie, according to...
a cop horror movie.
Yes, according to The Guardian.
I couldn't tell.
They gave it 3 out of 5 stars.
Huh? I couldn't tell. So the song's called Can't Be Life. I couldn't tell that it was a horror movie from the song.
Look, the song is good old sad black girl, can't keep a good woman down, Mary. It is the Mary canon.
I was about to say.
It's right? Yeah.
It's a Mary song. Like, it's in her wheelhouse. So I wouldn't have known that it was a horror movie.
Okay, so I'm trying to see where this body cam thing was released to. But
I'm watching on Fire Stick.
The Guardian gave it 3 out of 5 stars. To me, 3 out of 5 stars is not necessarily a bad score.
No, that's solid. That's solid.
That means that some of us, because they also gave Lovebirds 3 out of 5 stars, and I fucking love Lovebirds. Did you watch Lovebirds?
I did not. I heard really mixed reviews about it.
You know what I figured out? Y'all don't cuss. Actually, no, please do cuss me out. Bring me all the smoke. I figured out that there are us black folks who watch shit like Harold and Kumar and what's another movie that it made me think of? Get Into the Greek.
Oh, okay.
Those kinds of comedies, those kinds of weird ass non sequitur, high motherfucker type comedies. All of us loved Lovebirds.
There you go. Okay,
all the Insecure fans that got there because of Issa Rae seem confused.
And I hate. Listen, being an Issa Rae fan prior to Insecure, shout out to my homie Jamal Mobley, who is homies with Issa. He put me on the Awkward Diaries of Awkward Black Girl back on the YouTube days. Those of y'all that have been there since then. This new audience is weird, man. Y'all come in and ruin everything.
Everything.
Y'all come in and ruin everything.
So the commentary that I saw, what's funny is, without ruining anything, and I think I could say this. What's kind of a spoiler, but not really. The one thing about the movie that I thought was kind of cliche was that there was a secret society subplot to it.
Okay.
And that's literally what somebody came in and was like, that just seemed really weird to me. Like, and I'm like, I've literally seen it in 10 different things in the last 6 months. What do you mean? You never know? Okay.
Oh, well.
All right. Well, I guess it's not for you. Again, I believe that, things cannot be for everybody. But yeah, so the record, what is it called? Bad by Myself. Can't keep a woman out. My bad. Can't be life.
Can't be life. Can't be life.
It's out there. All right. So now we can start talking about the songs that are tied to projects that are coming out this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Joell Ortiz and Crooked Eye said, all right, cool. Joe and fourth member of Slaughterhouse that I cannot recall.
What? Wait.
I'm totally blanking right now. I don't know who the fourth member was.
Royce?
Oh, shit, Royce.
I was about to say, what? hey, Mikey, strike that from the tape. All right, we got a Men in Black, everybody. Nobody just started. Okay, that didn't happen. Y'all didn't.
Hi, Royce.
Sorry, Royce.
Hi, Royce. My bad. So I guess, when your big brother and your little brother are beefing and y'all the middle siblings and y'all just go off and play by yourself?
Yeah.
Joell Ortiz and Crooked Eye are dropping an EP this weekend.
I appreciate it, man.
It's called Hard, HARD. I don't know if it stands for something.
I'm sure it does.
Let me stop
those two.
And look it up. Just like how they dropped a single called Memorial Day, they dropped it on Memorial Day, and it was definitely not about cookouts and holidays.
At all.
At all.
It's more of a pour out a little liquor type vibe.
It's literally a memorial to a fallen friend.
Mm-hmm.
And in the very first verse, I want to say it's Crooked Eye rapping, and he's describing being at his friend's funeral and his mother coming up, hugging him and saying, I'm okay. And he's like, she says that, but I could tell immediately that she's not. That shit hit me. Yeah.
No, it's a heavy record. For those who, I was in the service, so Memorial Day, there's no happy Memorial Day for me.
Right.
And there's really no happy Memorial Day for anybody, but it's a day off. So, people get to enjoy the beginning of the summer or whatever. I enjoy it. But, they took this record and made it about lost soldiers in the street around the way, people that we love. And it's a heavy record, but it's a good heavy record.
It's a really good heavy record. I do not see anywhere where it actually explains what the acronym stands for.
I will ask Crooked. I will ask him. Yeah.
Cool. I would like to say I would ask Joell, but God knew what kind of thottery I would be involved in if I had direct access to Joell Ortiz, and so he didn't let that happen.
Yow.
Hi, Joell. All right. Janae Aiko is releasing a deluxe edition of Chilimbo.
Yes.
And so, I feel like the album just came out yesterday, but that's because, we're in COVID times and everything is condensed. I know it didn't come out yesterday because we talked about it in the studio. Right? That was the last episode we did in the studio, was when that project was coming out.
Yes.
So she dropped a new single called One Way featuring Absol. Love, 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 love it. Really good.
It's a fire record. It's a fire record, man. And I didn't know it was coming, but, you know, I saw like a little banter on Twitter with her talking about, man, Ab-Soul is one of the top rappers of all time. And, you know, I figured something was dropping. So definitely dope to have this record.
I really wish that there was a way for us to be able to give Cali's music community a better look. And I know, and that's weird to say because obviously, like, there's so many super successful artists from Cali, but the way that they all kind of work together and support each other and, you know, have done so over years and years and years and years, I just don't feel like we are, I don't know, like we give them.
Yeah, we don't paint the picture the way it actually happens out there. Like a lot of, like having been out in LA, working in studios and seeing the inner workings of who works with who and who builds and seeing the musicians and, you know, seeing Aftermath and all these different worlds and how the things go together. A lot of things are intertwined and it's a lot of dope things that are happening, but we don't paint that picture. For us, we see Cali, we see Blood, we see Crip, we see Division. So,
we see Blood, we see Crip, we see Division, or we see bougie ass elitists who can't sit with us music industry.
Right. So we don't see, a lot of people don't see the real LA. And, you know, you don't see a lot of these dope artists, the Vince Staples and all these other cats, you know, even people like Schoolboy, you know, like if you take a TDE, right?
Mm-hmm.
TDE is chock full of amazing artists.
Mm-hmm.
And we just pick one per person.
Right.
We don't let TDE be celebrated as the collective of amazing talent it is.
Like we did Death Row at one point, which is interesting, right?
Exactly. So
what's the last label that you feel like people were really like all in on the label? Is it Dreamville? Do we feel like that about Dreamville now?
No, we still don't. So I feel like Cole did a lot to advance Dreamville. Mm-hmm. But still, the cats who came up off of that album, the Guap Dad came up off of that album more than anybody.
Yeah.
Because, you know, shout to everybody else that was on Dreamville, but a lot of those cats that are there, they went back to nobody talking about them.
No. I don't mean that project. I mean the imprint itself, like where people have a brand loyalty to the imprint and not necessarily.
No, but I think that's tied. Because nobody cares about anybody past J. Cole. And it's unfortunate.
I care about everybody, but I care about Boz deeply. I care about Jid and Earth Gang.
I think they're incredible. That's not even a question. But we're talking about the label. We're talking about the people that Dreamville like that. There's a subsection of people that do, but on the whole, we don't really look at Dreamville like, oh man, this is it.
Okay, is it good music before it imploded? Is it the idea of good music? Like good music,
the idea of
circa Cruel Summer, after Common dropped those
Mercy,
two projects.
Yeah, I'd say like Mercy.
2 Chains. Okay.
Yeah, like that time period, like what we thought good music was going to be, because good music didn't pan out to be that way, because really all you had, the only nigga who got albums out was Big Sean. To this day, Pusha T's got mixtape and a 7-track EP-ish album.
Didn't Sci-Hi drop a project, an album?
Sci-Hi dropped an album on its own.
Oh, it wasn't a good music album?
No. I mean, it was a good music album, but
nobody from Good Music got behind it.
And it was a really good music. It was a good album.
Yeah, No Dope on Sunday was really good.
It was I'm trying not to be biased because all my homies worked on it, but it was a great project.
Good album. It was a really
great project. So but didn't get the support, and people just don't look at that roster that way. It's been a while. My homie. So the homies over in England did Rough Riders versus Rockefeller today, which is interesting because you got 2 versions of Rockefeller, pre-Dipset, after Dipset.
Did they play a Eurogang record?
No, they did not play a Eurogang record.
They just dropped the project.
Because they should have just did a Dipset.
Yeah.
But I would have just did a dip. But whatever. The point was, those were 2 labels where you looked at those labels with prestige. Like those were the times when you looked at the label and was like, yo, this label is fire. I think TDE was almost there, but it's always been Kendrick so far out in the front that it's kind of dwarfed the accomplishments of the other folks. And Ab Soul has always been like the least heralded guy, and then J-Rock just came out of nowhere with an album that just knocked people over, like holy shit, which is good. Still one of my favorite albums. Listen, good. I can put that album on right now and let it ride. That album is incredible.
Yeah,
Grammy nominated and well deserved. So it should be TDE, but I don't know. I think they're the closest thing we got on the West Coast for sure.
Shout out to all of us who live in hood adjacent transitioning communities that have been celebrating Memorial Day with fireworks and gunshots since like Thursday.
And we don't know which one's which.
I finally know. I don't know if I'm proud of that, but I can finally tell.
Well, see, because you're a little bit closer to the gunshots.
Well, I'm in it. The gunshots be a street over.
Yeah, I'm the person who's a little bit further up, but I still hear him because I ain't that far.
All right. Okay. So I saved the one I'm most excited for last because I saw a new Lucky Day song today called "Shoulda" featuring Babyface, and I got really excited. And then I hit play and realized it was an interpolation / boy version of "Love Shoulda Brought You Home Last Night," which of course Babyface wrote and produced, or I don't know if he wrote but produced for Toni Braxton back in the day. And then I found out that he actually dropped a remix to Roll Some Mo that's like on a reggae vibe featuring Chronix and Medicine, but spelled Medicine. Yeah. And then I realized that all of this heat is happening because he's dropping a deluxe edition of Painted on Friday. I'm very excited. You know what I'm reviewing this week?
What?
The deluxe edition of Painted.
Why not?
That's what I'm doing. Very excited.
Shout out to my girl Anomaly Baby in Instagram, showing out and showing love. She's a Cali girl, and yeah,
we love y'all. I just wanted you to know that if Cali was a drivable distance that didn't involve so many questionable places for me as a Black woman, I would be road tripping because I'm not getting on no planes this year. I don't think.
I can't wait to get back on the damn plane.
I can't wait to get back on the plane, but maybe.
I'm finna go buy the most ignorant suit, full body painter outfit.
Okay,
I'm getting on with
Campbell.
I'm getting on there like Outbreak.
Yeah, I saw some chick who is a designer. Her and her sister have a clothing line based out of Milan. And when the pandemic hit, she was in the States. And they designed a suit that's basically meant for you to either throw away or dry clean. But they charged $400 for it. And I was like, sis, I'm pretty sure I could do the same thing with just a regular tracksuit.
Designer.
But what it is that it's a one piece and it comes all the way up and then there's a headpiece so that there's nothing on your body that's actually exposed.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I can accomplish this without paying you $400 for,
You can call somebody to sew that up for you.
I could just designate a tracksuit, my travel tracksuit, and put it on over my clothes when I travel. And then when I get to where I'm going to, I take it off outside the door and put it in a bag. Or I take it off at the airport. No, not at the airport. Outside the door and put it in a bag. It like $400.
I'm done.
I'm sorry. All right. What was your album this week? I think we got to start since we talk about the albums coming for the next week, I think we got to limit our conversations about the albums that came out.
So, okay. So, Gunna was my favorite joint that I listened to. I like Gunna's texture and voice, and I'm not going to compare Gunna and Lil Baby, but I'm a Gunna person. Like, some of my favorite projects, Drip Harder, like, it's just something about him and the way he delivers and just his overall aesthetic and his sound that I just find to be one of the more enjoyable out of the newer artists from Atlanta. Okay. So this is a really good album. He's got a bunch of features on here that work. You know what I'm saying? Like Thug's on here, obviously. But, you know, and then, so my favorite joint on here is Dollars on My Head, and that's him and Thug, right? And that's produced by Mike Will, Miles Harris. You got a lot of typical production for him. Turbo, who's one of his main producers on here. Shout out to Turbo.
Weezy all over this thing.
Of course, you got a joint with Lil Baby Blindfold. Like, that's a bop, too. So, you know, it's a good record. If you are Gunna, it's funny because I got like homies that are not into like trap music, but they be like, yo, but I like Gunna though. I like it's like one of my homies I play Call of Duty with, shout out to Kane, our brother from Philly. We always talking music, and he's always like, yo, you know, what's up with this, what's up with that? But he was like, yo, that Gunna, man, that's my dude. Like I don't really mess with the trap, but I mess with Gunna, and I feel like Gunna's that person.
Okay.
So that record was hard.
So if you are a fan of Gunna, if you're curious, and if you have Tidal, there's also like a bunch of behind the scenes documentary stuff that they dropped around the release of this project. Again, the project is called Wunna. It's Gunna with a W.
And like secondly, man, I listened to the Young M.A. EP, Red Flu. I want to shout out the 1975. If you like alternative music, if you want something different, refreshing, go listen to the 1975 Notes on a Conditional Form. But I want to get back to Young M.A. real quick. Boy, if Young M.A. was a dude saying the stuff that Young M.A. said,
she'd be canceled?
She'd be absolutely canceled, boy. Young M.A. is wow. I'm listening to the first two tracks, and I'm like, I'm clutching the pearls I don't have. I'm just like, wow, this is absolutely crazy. Like, it made me go research misogyny
and see if you could be a misogynistic woman.
And I found a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it was just interesting. I'm just like, wow. She's got some joints on here though. It's really short. I think it's like 7-8 tracks or whatever. But she'd be big canceled. She'd be big canceled.
I think she is though. I think that the women who would cancel a male version of Young M.A. just act like she doesn't exist.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I don't hear a lot of Young M.A. conversations.
Yeah, and you know, we always talk about why Young M.A. is not bigger, but I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons. Because she's clearly talented.
She's clearly talented. I think that where we have finally arrived at a place where we can receive a bisexual woman rapping in a feminine way or a gay woman rapping in a feminine way, we finally got to a point where we can accept a female R&B singer that's singing about other women. We're not there yet for a person who presents as, and part of me, that's not the right term, but who presents as butch, who is a woman, but, you know, who is a lesbian, who presents as male-ish. I don't know what the right term is, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm old. But I don't think that we're there yet. Like, I don't think we're ready to,
you know. What's funny, I read an article and they paralleled her and the girl from, what's the show? Orange is the New Black, right? Okay. The white girl, Butch, you know, the one who, Big Boo, right? And how Big Boo is like somebody who's like super, super, super like objectifying of women in her, you know, butchness or whatever.
Right.
And like, that's her aesthetic, and like how there's been a subsection of people that have canceled her for being that. I just didn't know. But I know that when I listen to Young M.A. stuff, I'm just like, oh my.
Right.
The first song is called Drip Set, and it's about a trip to Miami. And it's like 95 Freaknik type language. Like, it's like,
oh my,
you know, cut your bikini off type stuff. It's just like, it's wild.
Wow. All right. Well, should I go check that out?
Yes. Because this is some, like, once you get past, like, Trapper Cat, that joint's fire. And I feel like a large part of this is produced by I can't think of his name. He did Started from Mike Zombie. Mike Zombie's on here heavily with the production. But, you know, Bad Bitch Anthem, like, It's
Bad Bitch Anthem?
It's just like, I want her to do more. I don't know. We always have the evolution conversation. I'm usually not like that person. But right. I just feel like every time we hear Young M.A, we hear the same thing. And I feel like, for that, we just need one M.A song a year. Like if you don't give me the same thing, then just give me one per season.
Like she's coming out to the family reunion at Buela's house saying, "Buela, I don't like boys, Buela, I like girls." Every song. Like I like girls and I do horrible things to them.
Bro, but what, even with the video she had, you just, we get it. But there's gotta be more. And it's like, I don't like to compare people, but Saya, who's one of my favorite MCs, she talks about a large range of topics. And she comes from a lot of different angles, and she employs a lot of different styles. And I just wish Young M.A would be a little bit more dynamic in her music. I don't want her to be different. I just want her, I just want her to try something different and do something else. I don't want, got just like the same beat every time, the same style, the same cadence or whatever, So it's like that, and that's my problem with New York artists, since like Jadakiss, who's one of my favorite rappers of all time. But Jadakiss ain't doing nothing else than the thing that Jadakiss does. And that's what made rappers like Big and Hove so dope. Because they developed all these other aesthetics, flows, and all that shit. And that's why they stood above everybody else.
All right. Again, we would love to be talking about your sponsors, our sponsors, which would be your brands and projects, but y'all ain't cutting no checks. So this segment of the show, today's episode again, is being brought to you by the Pull Up by Bounce Gang and by Behind the Velvet Rope on Instagram interview series. A lot of deluxes dropping this week.
A lot of
deluxes dropping this week. So I'm gonna run those through real quick. We got Flying Lotus coming back with Fly Magra, the deluxe edition. G Herbo's putting out a deluxe edition of PTSD. Janae Aiko, like we already said. And it was another one I saw. What was the other one? Is that it? Maybe PTSD was the one that I'm thinking about in my head. So all those coming back out looking like, they're all having some kind of added content to the originals, obviously.
So we got Hard. What we do got something new from Little Papa. Lil Yachty's coming out with Lil Boat 3. We got Lady Gaga is coming out with...
Oh, that's going to be the one this week.
Shout to Annuel, who's coming out with Emmanuel. He got our shit flagged to high hell this weekend on the Pull Up because J. Oliver played an Annuel record. And that's cool. But Annuel is coming out with Emmanuel for my Spanish speakers or people who love Spanish bops. He's one of the top dudes in that genre. We've got The Killers, one of my favorite bands, coming out with Imploding the Mirage. Ro James is coming out with Mantic. And RMR is dropping Drug Dealing is a Lost Art. We also got Untitled Chapter with Top Shotter.
Listen, if you're going to drop Drug Dealing is a Lost Art, then I'm no longer caping for you when these people want to call you trap, country trap, or whatever the hell they were calling you.
Well, I will be honest, drug dealing is a lost art.
I'm an immigrant. I'm not having this conversation. On record.
I know, but I'm just saying as a child of the crack era, there's a lot of people still out here pretending that those things exist and that they could live that lifestyle and get those kind of things from that. It's not there no more.
It's not it anymore.
Y'all missed that.
Also, you guys, Ace Hood is coming out with an album because y'all were so excited about the EP he dropped a few weeks ago. Now he's got a whole album for y'all.
Ace Hood.
14 tracks.
Mr. Hood, 14 tracks. So we got some stuff.
He just actually dropped the single from that called 12 O'Clock featuring Jacquees. And that's where I unsubscribed right there. That's where Ty left the chat. Ace Hood and Jacquees?
I gotta go dive in. I'm gonna listen to it just because.
Okay, cool. All right, so here we go. Nick Love says, I feel like Jagged Edge kind of gets the Jodeci treatment, while 112 gets the Boys to Men treatment. since their sound and persona is more clean and polished. ATL embraces the bad boys sometimes. Also, 112 is a bad boy group, so they get lumped in with New York and Puff and Mace and Big, while J.E. feels more street, rough, and authentic. Read local to Atlanta. And they were signed to an Atlanta-based label, and we all ran into J.E. more often in the clubs, malls, etc. So that is why Atlanta feels more connected to Jagged Edge.
And that makes complete sense. I'm not even mad at it. I just wanted to know because it sometimes I don't think, sometimes it's evident, like people don't realize like when they do things in packs and the rest of us are watching it and we're just looking like, oh, okay, that's how y'all feel. Because New York does it all the time too. When something pops up and it's New York based, you'll see every person that's from New York or ever lived in New York or whatever go to bat for that New Yorkish thing. So, it happens. We get regional sometimes.
All right. Well, again, you guys, this is the Chopping Block podcast, which is the audio iteration of our Chopping Block section. Let me do that again, like I can speak and like I do this and have done this every episode for 21 episodes now. 21.
21. We can drink.
Yeah, say that again. We ain't took a week off since the pandemic. We ain't took a week off since week 2 where we recorded the show and then realized that we hadn't recorded the show. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it happened to us during the pandemic, y'all didn't even know because we woke up the next morning and we recorded the show. Because we love y'all. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the Chopping Block podcast is the audio iteration of the 2 most popular sections on the iStandardProducers.com website, which are the Chopping Block, our track-by-track review section of albums, which will be refreshed shortly. We have a bunch of them in the can. And the credit check, which is the most extensive listing of album credits you will find on these here on Al Green's internet, as I like to call it, not Al Gore. And you can see that section of the site updated every Thursday night. As soon as the albums drop, we have as many credits as we can find. So shout out to Young Darren and Michelangelo for assisting Sis with making sure that information is available to you guys. He is Scissor215 on all platforms.
And she is at Saint Boogie. And you know where not to hit her up.
And also, please don't tag your friends to argue with me about my opinions on Facebook.
Don't tag me.
Not even about my opinions, about facts.
Don't tag me at all.
And the platform is the Chop Block Pod on everything else, at Chop Block Pod on Instagram. Mm-hmm. The brand is at iStandard, and we will see you next week. Keep washing your hands, you guys.
Please. Peace.
Peace.